Around the Table on Harrison's Original, KHOZ.
Welcome to Around the Table with Dan and Ann. It is a Tuesday here in the Ozarks, and I want to welcome everyone to the show today. We've got an hour fun-filled, jam-packed program for you. We've spent the last 24 hours painlessly getting our act together and our guests together, and it's going to be a wild ride today. Yes, ma'am. Can I help you?
What on earth makes you think it's going to be? I don't remember what I was going to say.
You can't remember all of the
Well, I can't because you were saying all this descriptive stuff, and I thought, well, that's one thing I want to question, but there was so much of it, I can't even. I'm just going to have to question
You
it
think
all.
people are on the edge of their seats?
Did you like spend a lot of time
No.
prepping for this? Oh,
No.
I thought I don't, but I mean, we do, but not.
We spent enough time.
We got a guest. We got our stuff printed, and here we are.
And we have our coffee.
And we showed up.
You drink what water?
I've already drank coffee this morning, so I drink
coffee.
water.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, is that a problem?
No, it's not a problem for me, but I'm sure a lot of people listening out there go, ooh, she's a little weird.
Some people have to have food stuff in their coffee or water.
Have you ever heard of putting butter in your coffee?
Why would I do anything like that?
Look that up.
Really? Is that really a thing? Or sometimes you just come up with wild crap
No,
to see what I'll do.
Well, sometimes I'm just hoping that the world is so weird to begin with.
Yeah.
And that anything goes. So if I spew something out there that comes off the top of my head, it's quite possible that it may be real.
Do you know? I don't think that's real, but I'm always amazed at just whatever that very moment when you say, "You ever put butter in your coffee?" Where does that come from?
It comes from the deep, dark holes of my brain.
I guess.
Got a little hole back
you've
there.
You've got a big hole, a sinkhole, I think.
It's dark in there, too. Really dark.
Butter in your coffee.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I'm going to Google
Oh,
that.
you're not going to Google?
No, I was already
I was kind of hoping we could...
At first glance, Dan, it's always like, maybe there's some truth to what he's saying, and then it's just so ridiculous. I just can't go with it. Are you Googling it?
I am.
What does it say? You can put butter in there if
butter
you want.
coffee.
No.
It's called bulletproof coffee. You want to hear about it? Butter coffee, also known as bulletproof or keto coffee, is a drink that mixes coffee with butter, or ghee, G-H-E-E, and
ghee.
MCT, a coconut oil. The combination is said to boost energy, concentration, and weight maintenance. However, the Mayo Clinic does note that it's high in calories and saturated fat and lacks nutrients found in whole food. Well, who cares?
I'm going to probably not do the butter coffee. But did you know it was a real thing when you said that just
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm so sheltered.
But I took you down another road to make you disbelieve me.
Yeah, you do that a lot.
Yeah. So if you're interested in bulletproof coffee,
That
it's
make you fat.
1 cup of coffee with 1 or 2 tablespoons of grass-fed unsalted
Y'all,
butter.
that's a lot of butter. Are you kidding me?
Well,
I'm just thinking about all the crap growing in my veins and my arteries and all the.
I eat real butter. Do you eat butter or margarine?
But some of both.
Okay.
It depends.
I don't do the margarine anymore if I can help it.
Right. We do, but a lot of times it's real butter. I use real butter more than I used to. It used to always be crap.
It's always butter with me.
It's always butter with me.
If I could find real butter from a real cow, unpasteurized, you know what I mean, Like if somebody's making butter, if somebody's
Wow.
making butter from a cow, I would love to know where.
Well,
that
how
comes
else would
from.
they make butter?
Well, I mean, you can buy butter in the store, but it's pasteurized and homogenized, and
It's had all kinds of crap done to it. Is that what you're saying?
that's what I'm saying. Turn all that stuff off.
Wow. Thanks, Dan.
Well-
Thanks for whooping it on in there and turning the stuff off before we started.
Okay. All right.
We
Yeah.
want to mention something.
What do you want to mention?
That right there in your hand.
We let people know Stone Bank is sponsoring our show. We're so privileged to have a sponsor. Thank goodness we've got a sponsor. I feel like a child with a parent now.
You do you? You
I
don't feel
suppo-
homeless anymore?
Feel supported.
Okay.
You know.
Well, what do you want to say about it?
Did you want to preface?
Yes, Zach Bolin has joined Stone Bank in Harrison and as a loan officer here.
Okay.
And he was formerly associated with Arvest Bank as a financial sales representative. He's a local boy, and he's come back to work with Stone Bank as a financial officer. So go check out Stone Bank.
Okay. Yeah, he's a local guy. He's graduated from Western Grove High School.
I'm sure we'll have him on the show at some
Yeah,
point.
and he also received an Associate of Science degree in agriculture from North Arkansas College in
Which
Harrison.
is prevalent around this area, agriculture, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
And he also received a Bachelor of Arts degree in Organizational Leadership, Agricultural Business from the Arkansas Tech University.
well, all right. Welcome to Stone Bank, Zach Bolin.
Go by and
Visit.
say hello to Zach.
Okay.
All right, you want to do some weather?
Do you want to do
That's
some
kind
weather,
of the
Dan?
next thing on our
Do you want
list.
to do some weather? You wanna
We
do
can
some
talk
weather?
about some
But do
weather.
you want to do some weather? Okay. Showers and thunderstorms likely mainly this afternoon between 2 and 4. Partly sunny with a high of 86. Precipitation chance is at 60%. Could be some thunderstorms. You know, that's all we'll find out.
Yeah.
And then tonight, a 30% chance of showers with a low of 69. Wednesday's a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms, high of 87. Wednesday night, mostly clear with a low of 68. And then Thursday, sunny, high of 90. Thursday night, mostly clear with a low of 71. Go ahead for the
On
weekend.
Friday, it looks like a 20% chance of showers comes into the area with a high of 92. And then Friday night, 20% chance of showers continues with some possible thunderstorms, low around 71. And then Saturday, 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, and then high 90 for that. And then Saturday night, 40% chance of showers. Look on into Sunday and Monday. A 40% chance of showers continues on Sunday with a high of 88. It's cooling off a bit. Sunday night, low 68, and then a 40% chance of showers continues with a high of 90 degrees on Monday.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
All right.
Good deal.
So we're continuing with our topics to ponder, and what was the topic to ponder? Topic.
How do you reacted to things in the past versus how you react
Okay.
to things, or in certain situations? and
So
that type of deal.
basically, do you still throw a
Tantrum or a
child
fit? Yeah.
temper tantrum?
That was easy
Temper
for you to say.
temper tantrum
A
as
temper
an
tantrum.
adult. Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay.
Get up, get moving, get those thinking caps on. It's time to ponder this topic.
Well, I'm going to read it.
Okay.
How has your inner dialogue changed during stressful, chaotic moments compared to before?
Yeah.
I stop and think quicker.
Yes.
Stop to contemplate, I guess, the situation, and sometimes I don't react. I mean, hopefully I before I react. Mm-hmm. But and in chaotic moments, y'all, I can't. The dentist freaks me out. I have the nicest dentist, and he's never done anything, that was questionable to my mouth. But it really makes me anxious. And this last time when I had to go in and have something done, I sat there and I was like scuba diving. In my head, I was scuba
you
diving.
had to.
I have to do that. Yeah.
So when you were a younger person, you couldn't do that.
No, I just sat there and freaked out.
You just freaked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody was telling me yesterday that they had a heart palpitation, and it was atrial fibrillation. That means that your heart is beating quite fast. And he told me that that he didn't panic. And he said if I would have panicked, I would have gotten worse.
It would have compounded the problem.
It would have compounded worse because you're not only your heart is going so fast that if you're anxious about it, your heart will go faster and it could just stop. Yeah. Well, my wife Kelly says I've retained my brain to cultivate a kinder, more compassionate inner voice that the one I had in my 20s and even 30s.
That's
there. I think most people are that way. Some people don't, though. Some people are just as frantic and explosive, I would say, in their later ages than their younger ages. So.
I also find that I pray about it more. You know what I mean? Even in the situation at the time. And that's kind of like, they say stop, count to 10. Well, sometimes mine is just a little dialogue here with the with going, I need your help. Help me to handle this, whatever.
Well, that's your way of managing that stress. And I think we all need some kind of crutch to help us with that.
Sure.
Whether it's prayer or
just
meditation or just having a routine where you count to 10. I tried that. The counting to 10, I went past 10 to 20 and 30.
And you never
and it
stopped.
Still didn't help me at all. So
well, we only have one answer at this point, but we are welcoming you all to go to our Facebook page, Around the Table, and give us your thoughts on the topic to ponder, which is how has your inner dialogue changed during stressful, chaotic moments compared to before? You can also give us feedback on our silly little dirt road darts when I remember to do them now. Because Dan's just, I don't know where Dan is. He's off in his own little world at times. So.
Well, I'm doing all the work while you're not doing anything.
Well, yeah. Okay, whatever. Wow. Wow, Dan.
Oh, are we on the air? Oh,
yeah,
I
Dan.
Probably shouldn't be saying that on the air.
You know what? That's probably minor compared to what you could say on the air. So we'll just go with that.
We'll go to our Facebook page and give us your thoughts.
Yeah.
Now let's do some Today in History.
We're doomed to repeat ourselves, so let's find out what happened today in history.
To you, the great silent majority of my fellow Americans, I ask for your support.
Okay, sorry. 56 years ago, the first round of troops began leaving Vietnam, a phased withdrawal which would take years to complete. President Richard Nixon later spoke to the nation to encourage Americans to back his strategy.
Well, I was at the age of when this war was right in the middle and close to the end. Thank God it was at the end.
Yep.
But they were talking about invading Laos when I had to register for the draft.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then not too long after that, they ended everything.
Yeah.
I intend to conduct an open and above-board campaign, both for the nomination and for the presidency.
This was back in 1975, 50 years ago, 11 months after becoming president when Richard Nixon resigned. Gerald Ford announced he would run the following year for a full term. Ford lost the 1976 election by a narrow margin to Jimmy Carter.
Okay.
The shuttle's always going to be a reflection of what a great nation can do when it dares to be bold and commits to follow through. We're not ending the journey today, Mike. We're completing a chapter of a journey that will never end.
14 years ago, Space Shuttle Atlantis thundered into orbit on a cargo run that would close out the 3-decade U.S. Space Shuttle program. Commander Christopher Ferguson thanked those who contributed to the program over the years.
Betty Ford's one of the most significant first ladies in American history, and that's largely because of her fighting for the women's movement in the 1960s and 70s.
This was in 2011, also on the same day, 14 years ago. Former First Lady Betty Ford died in Rancho Mirage, California, at the age of 93. Presidential historian Douglas Brinkley praised her openness and hard work on social issues.
Prime Minister Abe was a transformative leader, a statesman, someone of truly global stature. I've got to tell you, the news of his death was felt very deeply throughout the G20, all of the foreign ministers.
3 years ago, former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was assassinated on a street in western Japan by a gunman who opened fire on him from behind as he delivered a campaign speech. An attack that stunned a nation with some of the strictest gun control laws anywhere. The 67-year-old Abe was Japan's longest-serving leader when he resigned in 2020. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken lauded Abe during a visit to Bali, Indonesia.
I think it's Abe, but that's okay.
Is it Abe?
Mm-hmm. Also, we have a birthday cut. This is Got Kids. Children's performer Rafi was born on this day in 1948, 77 years old.
Oh, Rafi.
That's a great book, Slaughterhouse Five. Yeah, it's a classic.
Maybe in another town it's a classic.
In any town.
Actor Kevin Bacon was born this day in 1958. He is 67, and that was a line from Footloose.
Okay.
I love you as much as a human heart can, kiddo. So don't let your dad's poor choices make you feel afraid to be different.
Milo Ventimiglia was born on this day in 1977, 48 years ago. He brought viewers to tears with his role as Jack Pearson in the NBC drama This Is Us.
And actress Sophia Bush was born this day in 1982, making her 43. Bush starred in the series One Tree Hill. Hill, not heel. Hill.
Okay.
It's not a time machine. Dad, it's not a time machine. Guy said it was a time machine. It's not a time machine. It was wrong.
Okay. Actor Jaden Smith was born on this day in 1998, 27 years ago. As a child, he appeared in The Pursuit of Happiness with his father, Will Smith. So that's Will Smith's boy.
Do you hear much about Will Smith right now?
No.
Since his debacle?
Slap.
Yeah, the slap that went worldwide.
Yeah, Straganja.
I haven't, but I just wondered if I was just missing it.
Yeah. Oh well.
Anyway.
I mean, he's got it made. Why does he have to do anything?
Well, I guess that's true.
Sitting by the pool.
I suppose so.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking with Courtney Lantis about Operation Christmas Child. Back to school, right?
Yep.
Back to school. This is a little early, but we need to.
I think there's a reason.
There's a
it
reason
to be
for that.
Way. Yep.
And Courtney will tell us all about it in just a few minutes. Stick around, stay with us. You're listening and watching Around the Table with Dan and Ann.
And Hometown TV, channel 26.1.
And welcome back to Around the Table. Courtney Lantis is in the house. And woo-hoo, raise the roof, yeah. Hey, Courtney, how are you doing today?
Doing great, sir. How are you?
What is this back to school? This is really early in the season for Operation Christmas Child. Is that correct?
You would think so, but no, actually, Operation Christmas Child goes year-round because we have to have all of those shoe boxes packed and sent out for the little ones well before Christmas so that it gets to them within the time frame that we need it to. So we're in 4th of July parades. We've got our little Christmas display float set up.
It's Christmas in July.
So we have it in July. We have it at rodeos all summer long because this is the season for packing parties. If you or your church are interested in hosting something like that, if you reach out to me and let me know, I am the church communications person for this area. And I would love to get a hold of you if you want to reach out to me. Because I can get you material, I can schedule somebody coming and presenting for your church, whether it be me or another volunteer with OCC and Operation Christmas Child, because we'd love to give you all the we want to give you all the tools that you need.
Yeah, I'm sure you've been to the Lions and the Kiwanis.
Yes,
all of those. I'm sure you've been to all those.
Yes.
Done your
the ministry has. Well, you know, it's funny. My phone number is a Missouri phone number, and I am fairly new to this position. So I have reached out to a lot of churches, and I haven't heard back from very many of them, and I think they think I'm a spam caller.
I think they probably they might.
What I'd recommend you do is when you're with that person, say, let me see your phone.
Yes.
And then you call yourself.
If I can get to those people. I need that face on. This is my face. Know my face. I am with OCC.
I'm not a scam caller.
I'm not a scammer or a creeper.
Yeah. That's right. But no, I'm happy to set up anything like that. And we've got several people who would love to come and present. We've got displays and
And we've talked a little. I mean, we've talked previously about Operation Christmas Child. But why don't you remind the people that are listening about what it is, what that organization does?
Absolutely, Operation Christmas Child is a ministry that's under the umbrella of Samaritan's Purse.
Okay.
And essentially what we do is every year we take collections, and we have different churches around here set themselves up for collections, and you can pack these shoe boxes with gifts for children all around the world. And along with these gifts go these gospel opportunities, which is what we call the shoe boxes. So when they're presented, they're given the gospel. There's usually a presentation and pamphlets and material handed out so that these children know that we're giving this in the love of Christ and with the gospel to give them hope in a very dark world.
The shoe boxes can be packed with simple, like Crayolas or little Crayola books. This is something our church does with journals and wash rack, just simple things. That
one of the reasons this event is called Back to School is because school supplies are a very important thing that we love to add to the boxes.
Sure.
Because a lot of these children don't have, things that we take so for granted. They don't have notepads. They don't have pencils.
Right.
They don't have chalk or chalkboards, and a lot of these schools still use that.
Okay.
Because it's that's what they have access to. So we're trying to get the materials that they need for education, as well as for their spiritual well-being. So.
Now, aren't these boxes unique in that you can follow where they end up?
Yes, you can. So if you, we do not ever ask for money for these things, but if you pay for the shipping for your box, which I believe is a $10 donation, if you pay for the shipping to your box, then you will get a QR code that you can scan, and then yes, you can follow your box all the way to where it's delivered.
We've received pictures of kids that have been,
Isn't that
blessed by that, and it's heartwarming and
it
makes you want to do it over and over and over again.
That's kind of the payoff. For yourself. It's a selfish thing, but really it's
very gratifying. But yes, it's wonderful. And when you do that, we encourage you to put a personal note in and things like that. A lot of people put in their address, and we have a lot of beautiful testimonies of children who have sent thank yous.
How sweet.
And it's just such a sweet connection, and it's wonderful to see how the Lord works through that.
Now, people don't have to necessarily be associated with a church to do this. You can be a lay person or someone who isn't affiliated with a particular church and be able to fill shoe boxes. There are shoe boxes that are pre-made, but can't people usually, they could use their own?
Absolutely.
Okay.
No. Well, before I became involved with Operation Christmas Child, my family and I have packed shoe boxes for years, just as our family.
Right.
We used to go to a church that didn't really do anything with it, and I didn't know that I could
Sure.
bring that to my church. So my family and I just had a goal, and we use it as a Christmas family activity that we would get together,
Yeah.
and all year long we would collect things, and then we would pack and we'd see if we could do a little more every year, a few more boxes. So that became a really fun tradition that we still do, and our church does it now. But our family still packs shoe boxes because we just got into, it's a tradition we just love doing.
And one thing that I remember being told as we were packing these at my church was, don't cram them so full that you can't close the lid.
Can't close the lid. Yeah.
We
Please.
do have rubber bands. We do have rubber bands, and we will make sure we take those suckers. But yeah, well, we do want them stuffed, though. We
You
do
bet.
want them stuffed.
Yeah.
Little stuffed
Every little
animals,
nook-
even
nook
to
and
nook and
cranny.
cranny, or little socks, can fit in lots of little nooks and
We
crannies.
have a lot of people taking vacuum sealers out now and taking those stuffed animals and vacuum
What?
sealing them
Oh,
flat
yeah.
so that they can
I
put
see.
even more in there.
I
'cause
think
stuffed
that's
animals take up a
wonderful.
lot of space.
And I don't know how many people, just this area reaches with the shoe boxes, and I'm sure there's no way for you to know that. But
Not how many people necessarily, but we are northwest. North Central. Sorry, North Central Arkansas is where is what I'm affiliated with. We reach out all the way a little past Mountain Home.
Okay.
And to here, so we've got quite a range of people that we're operating with and trying to encourage to become involved.
And if you're not involved and you want to be involved, here's the face you need to see. And here's the contact information you're going to need to be able to find out more information about how to do that.
Yeah, do you want to put your phone number out?
Absolutely. My
Okay.
number
Let's do
is
that.
573-296-8641. And if you'll reach out to me, then I can get you, I can find the information you need or give it to you. I can also get you in contact with people like Sherry Alexander, who she's the top dog in this area. So she's the one that has all the answers. So I usually go running to her if I need help. So we'll get you the information that you need. We've got a lot of very helpful volunteers who are eager and ready and willing to help out with
Now,
any questions.
Samaritan's Purse, is that a Graham?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Franklin Graham, yeah.
Franklin Graham, yeah. I saw him during a hurricane or tornado.
Yes,
They do that
They have
kind of work
a
too.
wonderful disaster. That's not part of Operation Christmas Child,
Right.
but they have a wonderful disaster relief program, and they do a lot of things here in the States as well. Operation Christmas Child is beyond our borders. And we are an outreach, but yes, we definitely the Samaritan's Purse has a lot of ministries and a lot of ways to help.
Well, the mission
They're very active.
is the same because they do their they were the first ones there.
Yes.
And they do it out of the kindness of their heart instead of how much.
Because we believe it's the way we're supposed to live. That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very cool. Very
you
cool.
have an actual event that's
We
coming
do,
up,
yes,
though.
that's
Let's
why I'm
let's
here,
hit let's
yes.
hit on that.
So the event is called Back to School with OCC, as I mentioned before. We're trying to impress the fact that school supplies are very necessary and very
Right.
needed in these shoe boxes and very appreciated. But this event, it's a meet and greet, a team meet and greet, so that you can see faces that you may not know, and you will be introduced to all of the volunteers in this area who are ready to help you and what we do. So I handle the media account on Facebook, and I reach out to people like you to schedule interviews for others. And then I also am a church relations team member. So I reach out to local churches in my area and try to get them the material that they need from Operation Christmas Child information packets and schedule presentations at their churches. So you'll meet people like me, you'll meet Sherry Alexander, you'll meet all sorts of people there. And that is Saturday, July 26th. 2025. The time is from noon to 2. This is a come and go as you want to. This is not a strictly structured event in that way where you have to be there at a certain time and you have to leave at a certain time. We welcome you whenever you can get there. It's going to be at North Ark College. They've graciously given us a room to use for this event.
Wonderful.
It'll be in the JPH conference room, 1515 Pioneer Drive, Harrison, Arkansas, and I know they'll probably post
And that's
that.
the South Campus.
Yes.
Indiana
Yes.
Wonders.
And we're actually going to have it set up so that you'll be able to pack a shoebox. So you'll actually be able to experience the process of how to pack a shoebox and what's appropriate to put in them and things that we encourage. There's always like a wow
there may
item.
Be questions about that.
Absolutely. There's a wow item that we always suggest that you put in, like a stuffed animal or a soccer ball or something. So there's like a big item, and then all of the little things that you stuff in the nooks and crannies that they can use. So we'll walk you through that process, and then of course all of us volunteers will be there to answer any questions that anybody has. And because we'll all be there, there won't be a question we can't answer.
If you're an overachiever and have a shoebox ready, just go ahead and bring
That's
it.
right, just bring it on.
Bring it on.
And lunch is going to be served.
Okay.
So we have, and it'll be really fun. It'll be a school style lunch.
Okay.
That we've got all
right
set
in the
up.
theme.
Yes, and so far we have some local businesses who are donating some food. We've got Neighborhood Mill is donating some of the sandwiches, and I know that the rest of the places that I'm not aware of are going to be getting recognition at the event for anybody who was involved in helping support us and helping put this on.
Could people bring, if they have some ideas of things to pack with, like if they happen to be listening and heard some of the things that might be useful to pack, bring them? Could we bring them? Or, I mean, could they, or would you prefer just to find out information and
right? It's more of an information event. It's not a donation drive,
and it's not a packing party.
Right, and it's not a packing party. However, holler at your girl because I will get you set up for a packing party.
Okay.
I love organizing that kind of stuff, so I can definitely help people with that.
And your number is 573-296-8641, and I'm going to put it up on our Facebook feed here.
That'd be wonderful.
Get a hold of Courtney.
Yes.
You know, I mean, if you have any questions, whether it be about coordinating this or not, I think any questions about Ozark Operation Christmas Child, she would welcome and be happy to tell you more.
I'm still fairly new, but I have a very supportive team that I'm a part of, and I can, if I don't know the answer, I promise you I'll
She's
get it for you.
She's going to find out, and she will get back to you.
That's
wonderful. Right. Well, anything else? Yeah. Anything else you want to add before we close out?
I think that's about it. Just know that this is not, it's a free event. There is no obligation. And you're going to have a blast, and you'll be able to learn how to do this, and you'll learn the heart behind it. You'll find out the mission statement, and there will be a small presentation where we go into stats. It's really, I love hearing the stats from the year before because it just gets better and better every year as people find out what this ministry is really about.
If you're a competitive person, you might want to get in competition with somebody about how many boxes you can pack.
Great for youth groups to kind of get two teams going.
Goal-oriented.
Yeah.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming by, Courtney.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And come back, give us some updates, and anytime you need some outreach, come see us.
Thank you. Will do.
All right, we're going to be right back. Stay with us. All right, welcome back to Around the Table.
With Dan and Ann.
What-
Just throwing it out there, Dan.
You
Dan,
just-
them. Dan.
You stole my thunder.
Your thunder was taking too long. You know, when I don't hear something come out of your mouth, something's got to come out of mine. That's how I feel about it.
You wanted to do some local things? Well, I didn't bring my local stuff in here, but that's fine. You go ahead.
I want to talk to you people out there in listening land. No, I want to remind, we've had a director for A Midsummer Night's Dream on last week, and this is going to be an event in Eureka Springs, and it's a play, and it's a Shakespeare. She has adapted it to fit a stage there in Eureka, and the dates are July 18th and 19th, 25th, and 26th. Now, this is an outdoor theater, and it is at Harmon Park in Eureka. And the pre-show festivities start at 4:30, with the show actually starting at 5:30. And you need to come and bring your own blankets and chairs, and be aware that you can't park real close right there. So be prepared to do a little hike. And tickets are $10 at the door, or buy them online at reserveeureka.com. And we encourage you to go and check that out. Also, there was a notification about Boone County Republican Committee presents the 2025 Reagan Day Dinner, and that's happening in August 2nd at 6 p.m. And that will be at Creekside Community Center. And the keynote speaker is the Arkansas Treasurer, John Thurston. So I would suggest calling Creekside or for tickets, contact Levon McCullough, 870-577-1816.
Okay.
I'm just going to keep going. And happening right now at the Boone County Library is the Harrison Art League Summer Art Show. Small works on paper.
Okay.
So if you're visiting the library, or if you want to go check out some beautiful artwork, I would encourage you to go to the Boone County Library during their hours, and that will they'll be up until August 2nd.
Okay.
Murder Mystery at the Seville.
Oh yeah,
it's a 2-day event. This is a a murder mystery, and dinner served along with that. And if you come on Friday, you get all the scoop, but you don't get to find out who the murderer is until
So you have to come back for the second time.
So be aware of that. But also, I think they're offering discounts there if you come if you travel for rooms. So that will be something you can take advantage of. But they're all over the hotel, isn't it? Aren't they kind of utilizing clues and such?
Even the staff there, you could possibly quiz the staff to get extra clues, and they do have some clues. Yeah.
Can you bribe?
Yeah. Also, if you solve the mystery, you get $500.
That's huge.
That's a huge deal.
That's incentive to go right there. Mm-hmm. There's also a car show on July 12th at the Boone County Senior Center, and that's on Rock Springs Road. Entry fee is $20. You know, this area loves car shows.
They do.
So this is a perfect opportunity. Registration will begin on the 12th at 9:30 and until 10, and judging begins at 11. There's concessions, of course, door prizes, but rain or shine, go check out the car show or enter into the car show. Do you have something you could enter?
Not yet. I'm still working on it.
Is that your Corvair?
My Corvair.
That's my Corvair, buddy.
I have a 65.
And also on July 29th from 7:30 to 4 is the Region 2 Prevention Conference, engaging the next generation of state of substance use prevention. And I believe we actually have someone from NAFI coming on this Friday to give us more information about that. But, you know, drugs are prevalent in this area, unfortunately. And bike nights are still going on. That's
first Tuesdays?
Second Friday of the month.
Oh, second Friday.
April through September, 6 to 8. And all that happens on the square.
Okay.
All right.
Are you up to date?
I think we're up to date.
All right.
Woo! I just threw it in the floor, so I guess I'm done.
All right.
Okay, Dan, what now?
I don't know.
That's all I got.
That's all you got?
That's all I got.
Okay.
Except for what I
Exit,
found on the floor.
exit stage left.
Yeah, exit stage left.
Well, we're going to
That's
take a
good.
quick break, and when we come back, we'll have more for you. We have trends. We have trendy things.
Trendy.
Things happening around the world that will amaze and shock you in the
Blow
same
your
breath.
mind.
Stick with us. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to Hey. Fat Albert. You ever watch that
Okay.
cartoon?
Of course I did.
Yeah.
Duh.
I love that. You know, I think Bill Cosby did most of the voices too.
Oh, he probably did.
Don't.
Wasn't
Whatever.
that before he got in trouble?
Well, yeah.
Much before.
Yeah, I think if you live long enough, you're going to get in trouble.
Trouble one way or the other.
One way or the other, yeah.
That's probably not.
Oh,
that's
well.
probably a valid point.
Now, he's probably out of jail by now, isn't he? Didn't
I
he?
really don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't
poor guy.
seen-
You know, he gets old and have to deal with all that stuff. Of course, you know, he did some things that weren't, above board.
Yes, they exactly.
Yeah. So
Hey, have you been to Disney?
been to Disney World. Yeah.
Well, did you leave anything there that you know of?
You know, if I left it there, they can have it.
Good, because they're going to auction it off if you did.
Oh, I can just imagine.
This is Disneyland, actually,
okay.
It says. And that's the one in California. But Disneyland is getting ready to throw its annual Lost and Found sale, where all the stuff people left and didn't claim gets sold for a song. There are thousands of pairs of sunglasses for $1 each, strollers for $5, electronics, cameras, and even medical equipment like wheelchairs and canes.
How do you lose your
How
wheelchair?
do you lose
How
your
do you leave
wheelchair?
it?
I do not know. And tons of Mickey ears.
Oh,
the
yeah.
proceeds go to the Southern California Goodwill. Disney staff get their first dibs. Everyone else has to line up for hours to take part in the auction. So if you've left something there,
Who would want
too bad.
that stuff? Who would want,
Well, I don't know.
stuff?
I really don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Also, they're closing the Haunted Mansion.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody at Disneyland really screwed up the timing and decided to close down the Haunted Mansion for the park's 70th anniversary this summer. Even worse, Disney didn't announce it or anything. It's just no longer on the park's schedule. Looks like it'll be closed down on August the 11th, and there's no word when it'll reopen, but it looks like it might be back before the fall.
Well, that stinks. And speaking of stinking,
I read this one, and if you want to do it,
I'm going to do it.
It's
BBL.
It's gross.
Do y'all know what BBL is? I had to go look it up.
Yeah, tell us what it is.
There's some laser treatments that I think are called BBL, but that's not what this is talking about. This is the Brazilian butt lift.
Oh
so
my
you
gosh.
see women and probably men as well with these big
oversized, humongous butts.
bottoms. Yes. Okay, it's not. If not being able to sit for a week isn't reason enough to not do a Brazilian butt lift, maybe the smell is.
Oh, gosh.
Doctors now confirm that the BBL smell is a real thing. It's just gross. The rotting, sour stink that patients experience after sweating or sitting for a long time usually happens after a lot of the fat that was injected into your butt dies off. So it dies off.
What?
Which is why some patients need a second BBL to fill out those genes without clearing out the
Jeez.
But I have, the cost of that is probably, I don't know. I didn't look that part up, but
Yeah.
maybe don't.
Why don't people just accept the way they are?
Oh,
I mean,
Dan,
you gotta have
you're
big,
asking a lot.
You got to have a big cheeks. You got to take the lines out of your forehead. You got to have a bigger chin. You got to have bigger pecs. You got to have bigger butts.
It's a problem. It's a problem, like a real legit problem, especially I think for the females out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand. I body dysmorphia is a real deal.
Yeah.
And it's
You don't like your body.
you nitpick. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say what scale that is. Some people probably don't like certain features and that kind of.
But doesn't it come down to the acceptance of
exactly
what you
it
are?
comes down to?
The ability to accept that.
Yeah, but not.
And you can't.
I've been through. I still struggle with some of that, so
Okay.
I get it. But I don't go get a BBL. But but
That just the hassle would be enough for me not to want to get one.
just
The
think how
extra stuff.
uncomfortable that is too.
Yeah.
But if it's gonna stink, I don't want my booties are gross enough anyway.
Your booty stink.
Anyways,
well, the great news. Here's some positive news. TSA will stop making you take off your shoes at airport security. Oh my gosh. That's why when I go to the airport to take Sydney to the airport, everybody's wearing what do you call them?
Flip-flops?
Yeah, flip-flops.
Things you can take off easy.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't. I wear tennis shoes the entire time, but I don't have,
Well, it's true that we're no longer going to have to walk on filthy airport floors in our socks anymore. The word is that TSA has quietly canceled the policy that required travelers to take off their shoes before getting screened at security. CBS News says some TSA checkpoints like Atlanta, Philly, Fort Lauderdale, and LAX have already ditched the shoe rule. The rest will be phased out over the summer.
Okay.
I bet some of the TSA workers said enough is enough. You talk about smelly BBL
That's what I'm
butts.
thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe some people's feet are really kind of gnarly nasty.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've talked about microplastics and all that in the past and how bad it is with it's a real
in our
thing.
bloodstream.
It's in our bloodstream.
Right.
Well, scientists have figured out that they can filter microplastics out of your blood.
Oh, okay.
Some health freaks are already lining up to have all theirs sucked out. German scientists found that they were able to strain tiny bits of plastic out of some patients' blood using a process called therapeutic apheresis. What they don't know yet is it actually gets all of it out. A clinic in London is offering it, starting at $13,000.
Oh. So they don't really know that it'll get it all.
Well, this is what they don't know yet is if it actually gets it all out. Yes.
It doesn't really get it all.
No, I mean
they don't know.
They don't know.
There might be one.
So it could be $13,000, and you don't really know if the result's going to be what you need it to be. So,
oh gosh,
I guess do that at your own risk if you got enough money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, Monday mornings are just horrible for some people.
Yeah.
And it says here, having a case of the Mondays can leave a biological footprint.
Oh.
Turns out that having a case of the Mondays can become part of your biology. Researchers studied thousands of older adults and found that people who feel anxious about Mondays have elevated cortisol levels in their hair for months after. Cortisol is also known as the stress hormone. And here's the crazier part. The results for the same in people who are retired too.
Wow.
They still have anxiety over Mondays, even when they're not working.
I hope I would not fall into that category.
I think that's it's just a trained response. I would think so.
I suppose so. And, you know, Prime Days is coming up for Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I think
so
it
we can help
starts
pay for
today or
Jeff
tomorrow, yeah.
Bezos' wedding.
Oh, is that right?
No, I don't know that. It looks like the tariffs won't stop people from shopping on Amazon Prime Day this week. A new report from Adobe Analytics predicts that sales will be up 28% for Prime Days from Prime Days last year.
Okay.
Clothing items are expected to see the biggest discounts, but if you're looking for a cheap laptop, sorry. The report shows that electronics will be the least discounted, more than even in 2024, and more shoppers are expected to use buy now, pay later.
I think what it is,
I don't ever use
they've
that,
got a bunch of stuff in their warehouse, and they ask the computers which items aren't selling. And they say these are not selling.
And then they put them on Prime Day.
That's the one they're going to be on Prime.
Well, that would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Hello.
Just, micromanaging you from afar.
From afar.
Yes.
All right.
And just in time.
Just in time. Thank you so much. Today is
what?
The sunniest
Where'd
day.
it go?
Today's the one weird day of the year when 99% of humanity experiences sunlight at the same time.
Oh, okay.
It's also National Ice Cream Sunday Day.
Go to Paradise Cream.
Go to Paradise Cream. They're open 7 days a week, Monday through Wednesday, 3 to 8, Thursday, Saturday from noon to 8, and then Sunday from noon to 7. They have vegan and non-dairy, and everything is creamy, creamy, creamy at Paradise Cream. National Frozen Freezer Pop Day.
Cow Appreciation Day.
Moo.
National Be a Kid Again, and Amazon Prime Day.
All right.
All right.
We're out,
Done.
and we'll see you guys again on Humpy Day. Have a great day, everybody.